Yo, what's up? This is Patrick from GuideCube. And in this video, I'm going to talk about whether or not you need to be an M expert, really know the mashup language to use Power BI. Stay tuned. If you're finding this for the very first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date from all the videos from both Adam and myself. So, M, the mashup language, what you use when you create your queries in the query editor. Do you need to be an expert to use Power BI? Do you need to be an expert in the M language to use Power BI? No, you don't. The graphical user interface provides lots and lots of transformations, and they continue to enhance this thing with more and more transformations every time they release a desktop release. So you really don't need to be an expert in it. Adam and I get this question all the time. Hey, do I need to know M to use Power BI? In fact, I've read some blog posts and watched some videos where people will say, oh, you gotta know M. You need to know M before you use Power BI. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. The graphical user interface provides a lot of transformation. In fact, if you talk to experts like Chris Webb and Alex Powers and Matt Mason about the M language, they'll tell you a lot of times I use the graphical interface to get started with the M, and sometimes I need to inject little things to optimize my queries, so not starting from scratch a lot of times, but I have a starting point, and then I go add my own little, customizations and optimizations to M. So yeah, you can get you a good working knowledge of it, but you don't need to be an expert, all right? You don't need to be expert, especially with guys like that out there that publish lots of content. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a few examples where I've seen people go into writing some M, and I'm like, wait, stop. Use the graphic user interface, and then I'm going to show you talk about an example and show you an example of when you may need to write some M. So enough of all this talking. You guys know what I like to do. Let's head over to my laptop. Let's say you have some data like this, right? It's unpivoted, and you need to, it's pivoted, and you need to unpivot it where you, instead of having the dates as columns, you want the dates as rows, okay? So how do you do that? And to be honest with you, I've seen people do this. Right click, advanced editor, and they start writing code. And I go, what the fritch toast are you doing? The graphical user interface provides those transformations for you out of the box. You don't need to write code. Let me show you this. So what you can do is, let's choose everything here. Let's get it all selected up and go to transform and choose unpivot columns. Boom, there you go, right? I'm gonna do date. There's my date, and I'm gonna change this to a date, just like that. Okay, change it to a date, and then what I can do is say, give me the year. So when you get the year, like that. Maybe, Patrick, I want my date, so don't do that. Duplicate it. Let's go ahead and duplicate this column a couple of times. Let's duplicate it a couple of times, right? And now all I need to do is say, give me the year, and give me the name of the month. And guess what? I haven't written any code. There's my year, and there's my month name. How much code did I write? Not a single bit. You don't have to. The graphical user interface is perfect for lots of these data prep options. And so, in fact, if you're using a relational database, a lot of times whoever built that database, they put all the mechanisms in place to give you some pristine data. Now, if you're going against a source like I am, this was a CSV file or maybe a SharePoint list or some other non-traditional source, you may need to do your data prep. But before you start going into writing code, I suggest that you take a look at what's in, the transformations that are built into the query editor before you dig into writing all this code, okay? I see a lot of people try to write this stuff and do this stuff from scratch, especially when they injected that IntelliSense into Power Query. It's like, I'm gonna become this Power Query expert, Maybe you can spend some cycles somewhere else. All right, that's all I'm saying. Now for this, it's easy, right? You can use data prep, you can use all the built-in transformations, but maybe you're using incremental refresh and you have a non-standard date, like maybe you have a smart key where you've converted your date to an integer. In that case, you would need to write some M, and I did a full video explaining how to do it. You should go check out that video. But what if you're working with data from the web? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say you are a sports fan like me, and if I said this in front of Adam, Adam will go, yay sports. This is what he would do. He would go, Yay sports. Yay sports. That's what Adam would do. But if you're a football fan like me, you want to analyze data, some stats for all the NFL teams for multiple years. And you can see on this page, if I select a different year, it just updates that URL and it gives me the stats for that year. So I would grab this URL, go over to Power BI, and go to home and say new source, and I would choose from web, and I would pop that URL in, and then it would give me a list of the tables that's there, and then I could land something that looks like this, right? If you go into the M, you'll see that here's the code. Here's the code, and the very first line of the code, you can see that this year is hard coded. Remember, I said a lot of times we have a starting point where we're using the graphical user interface, and then we start injecting our own little M skills, right? Our own little M into the code. And so what I would do is I want to make this dynamic instead of having it hard coded. So I've already created a parameter here that contains my year. And so all I need to do is I'm going to do this, add a double quote there, put a space here, add a double quote here, and then I'm going to say text from, because that parameter is an integer, and then I'm going to put my parameter name, wrap it in some parentheses, and now, right, if I click done, cross my fingers, I'm doing code, right, changes my data based on that year. So if I go switch, take a look, right, 491, 287. If I go here and change this maybe to 2017, right, my numbers will change, 60, 607 and 362. Another feature, right, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh man, look at this, this is bad. I don't know why I doubled it up, but I just need one. Column from examples. Column from examples will actually write some code for you. So let's say I only want the 49ers and the Bears one time. I don't want it both times. All you need to do is select that column, choose column from example, select selection. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna type 49ers. And then the autofill is just gonna fill it in for me. So I'm gonna say, okay. And I'm gonna go over to the left here, get rid of this. I don't need that. And then this is gonna be my team, right? It's gonna be my team name. And just like that, I have my team now, just a single name. No code, I haven't written any code. But now here's where it comes in. So I've made it dynamic. I've made this dynamic already by adding my parameter. And what I like to do is get multiple years worth of stat data. I want to get multiple years. You can copy this query over and over and over and change the parameter and then append it together. That's not efficient. You can import it multiple times. That's not efficient. You know, you guys know I'm not lazy. I'm just really, really efficient. And so how do we automate this? Well, we're going to write just a little bit more M. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to get a list of those years. And so I go back to home, choose new source, and do a blank query. And then I'm going to go into my advanced editor. I'm going to get rid of all this. I'm going to say list.numbers. Right? I don't know why it's doing that, but I'm gonna open parentheses. I'm gonna go from 2015 and then go 6 more years. You can see all of the IntelliSense is completely built in for me. I click done. There's my list. I convert it to a table, right? Convert this to a table, call this year, and boom, there's my list of years. So after you create the table, writing your own M or importing it, let's give it a better name. Let's call this years. That's what I meant, years. And then after I do that, then I need to create a function, okay? Some reusable code. And so you may be thinking, oh, Patrick, I gotta write a lot of code. Nope. Since I've added my own little parameter, I've injected the parameter into this, I can right click on this and I can say, create a function. It's gonna say, what's the name? I'm gonna say fn get NFL stats. And it's telling me, hey, you need a parameter. Click OK. So now I have my function and my function's ready to go. The next thing I need to do is go over to the table that contains my, a row for each year that I want to go and get the data for. And then I go to add column, choose invoke a function, right? Like I said, the transformations that's available across this ribbon, it seems like they're endless. I choose this, choose the year that I want. If it doesn't default to that, it may do this, right? Just change that to column name, choose your column, click OK. It's gonna run a query. It's gonna go out and query that web page for each one of those. You see these little 2 arrows that go like this? Click those, and then you'll see all the data you want. Boom. There's all my data right there. That's all my data for all the years, all the stats for every year that I put in that list. If you add more years to that list, it'll just go and do it for you. So sometimes you have to write your own M, but it's not a whole bunch of M. You can have a starting point, do all your data prep that you need to do, make a function, and then call that function over and over again. All right, what do you guys think? You got any questions? You got any comments? Are you an M expert? Are you trying to learn M? If you're trying to learn M, there's a doc out there. I'll make sure there's a link to it in the comments below that you can go and read. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to know. Let's continue the conversation. Where? In the comments below. If it's your first time visiting the Guy in the Cube channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like my video, big thumbs up. As always, from Adam and myself, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.